You know how there's this golden rule when it comes to watching a new anime that you watch the intro once and then you could skip it for the rest of the season. I feel like I could listen to Zankyou Sanka and literally watch season 2 all the fucking time. Every time a new episode plays, I won't skip it. I'll listen to Amer's new song and I could just watch it forever. I shit you not. I was just recording this entire thing, and I've been struggling to record this multiple times because if you guys can tell, my tongue is like fucked up. And it's because I got like canker sores on the underside of my tongue, on like both sides of my tongue. So wherever I chew and wherever I eat and whenever I like talk, it fucking hurts. But I'm very passionate at what I do, and I wanted to cover this entire thing of Demon Slayer in the first episode of season 2. And we're gonna do it. We're gonna battle through this entire thing. And I'm thinking about putting subtitles in this episode, but I feel like I'm very articulate and you guys can understand. And I'm kind of lazy to put subtitles on. So without further ado, this is Coffee Roast with your boy Leaving Sunset, aka Michael. Welcome. And it's not really much going to be a roast, but rather my opinions on the Demon Slayer season 2 premiere and how much I love it. Because holy fuck, I've missed this anime. I've been reading it. I'm rereading it. And I've reread it already countless times. I've read the entire thing through with Demon Slayer and how it ended already. I think it was back in 2019, I think. Or somewhere around there, 2019, 2020. It ended while I was still in college. When I was still in Long Beach. So that's what I remember. And I remember reading it up until its final week of release. For starters, we're going to be talking about music for the atmosphere. And spoilers are going to be here. So if you guys haven't watched it yet, watch it. And if you guys have watched it, I hope you guys stay with me and we just listen and just basically, let out all our, just fan urges out. Because I'm so fangirling for Demon Slayer. The music and how it ties into the atmosphere and creates raw emotion for the episode. The music is one of the biggest things that I love of Demon Slayer, and I think it's just the MVP. It creates a sense of atmosphere and tone when it comes to scenes. For example, Akaza's meeting with Muzan and how he takes on, the child form, which I think is the scariest form that he's taken when it comes to both the manga and the anime. It shows that he's very much so merciless in his acts in forms of punishment to his demon brethren or demon pupils rather. He was very much so merciless, and I think the music really creates that atmosphere and that sense of stress that Akaza was in that situation. And also the music when it came to the shrine part when Tanjiro tries to find the demon in the Northwest Shrine. The music gave me that sense of nostalgia. And the tag team of both Nezuko and Tanjiro during that take reminded me of the episode 19 of season 1, Hinokami, when we first see the quote-unquote, the fire breathing, but it's actually the sun breathing. Spoilers, right? It's the Hinokami Hagura, what his Tanjiro's father passed on to him, and the legacy behind it. We learn about it in this episode, and we're going to talk about that later. But the music, it really reminded me of that episode when it came to Nezuko and Tanjiro tag teaming that demon at the shrine. Really reminded me of season 1. Tying into movie scenes. I think Demon Slayer does justice when it comes to just paying homage to Mugen Train and remembering Rengoku's legacy. Because that's what this episode was very much so about. It was both remembering Rengoku's legacy and seeing the relationship or the family dynamic between Rengoku's brother, Rengoku, and his father. The mother isn't really spoken about this episode, but we see that the dynamics of the relationship between all three of them and how Rengoku really just left a mark when it came to his death. And when it came to his final words to his father, I think that that Demon Slayer in general does justice when it comes to recaps. There was a lot of recaps. Season 2 technically, quote unquote, started with the Mugen Train cut down into pieces into different episodes, and then a little bit extra stuff, like extra meat when it came to starting off season 2. So, technically season 2 started off with Mugen Train. But I would also argue that this is also a start of season 2 because we're getting to a new arc. Yeah, the recaps were amazing. For people who don't like the recaps, boo-hoo. I love the recaps, and it really did the sense of justice that it had for Rengoku's remembering his legacy. Yeah, I like the recap of this episode. And also, Akaza's motivations now in remembering Tanjiro's face and trying to kill him, you know what I mean? There's very more nitty-gritty details of why Akaza wants to kill Tanjiro. It's not just the sword throwing and him calling him a coward, but there's also that urge in Akaza to kill Tanjiro because of that demon urge that Muzan passed down to Akaza when it comes to getting rid of the first breath user. And then Tanjiro is basically the bloodline of the first breath user, if I remember correctly. And we can tell when Akaza sees or Muzan sees the earrings that Tanjiro wears. The voice acting, always on point. Tanjiro's character, amazing. Akaza's character, when he was struggling against Muzan, amazing. Muzan's voice acting, amazing. Nezuko, she only mutters one thing in the box and like a little bit of fighting stuff, but amazing. The voice acting is always on point, and that's what I love about Demon Slayer, just the raw emotion when it comes to empathizing with the characters, and when it comes to listening to them. I could listen to them all day, and I miss hearing Inosuke's voice too, so shout out to the boy Inosuke and his voice actor. Oh, man, so wild, I love it. First time hearing the lore of sun breathing, Hinokami Kagura. We finally get to see the history of the first breath user. Or the first breast user, my tongue, I'm sorry. But the first breath user, Yoriichi Sugikuni, kind of butchered that, I know. But seeing the lost art form of the sun breathing, which is the first breath that was created to hunt the demons, and to hunt Muzan, rather, we finally get to hear about it. And we hear that through Rengoku's father, and how he was a former Hashira and he was actually studying the form but couldn't get it down right. And one of the reasons why is because usually the tutelage behind the first breath form, it's passed down through bloodline from father to son. And that's how Tanjiro was given the form. It's his father was teaching it to him as a ceremonial thing, right? But since Tanjiro watched it a lot as a kid, he has gotten to know it. And through episode 19, when we see Hinokami and we see the flashback of his father and the importance of the form, we get to see that it's actually a combat thing that allows Tanjiro to switch between the elements when it comes to water breathing and fire breathing. But it's quote unquote the sun breathing. And we will see that later, spoilers in the manga, that the repetition of the form and the whole forms of the fire breathing is actually sun breathing in its full entirety. The lost form that we see through Tanjiro's knowing of Hinokami Kagura. I think that was amazing. How we finally get to see some of the lore behind the creation of the Demon Slayer corpse, and how the first breath user, Yoriichi Sugikuni, is tied into all of this. Can't wait for the animation, can't wait for the flashbacks when it comes to, the final battles between all the demons and stuff like that, and all the Demon Slayer corpse. It's gonna get fucking wild, and I can't wait. I'm like nerding out for it. And I know that we're only on the entertainment district and we're just starting it, but I can't wait for the fights to be animated. Like, it's gonna be so fucking insane and gory and messy, and a lot of emotion and tears are gonna be shed, but I can't wait for that entire thing. Please take care of yourself. Almost cried at that part. I almost teared up at that part when it came to Rengoku's final words to his father. That was amazing. So much emotion when it comes to Demon Slayer compared to like other animes. I think AOT, is one of the animes that also hits hard for me. But yeah, so much emotion there. I miss the humor. I miss the awkward humor that Demon Slayer has when it comes to its anime as a whole. But I do miss the humor that Demon Slayer has to offer. I feel like there's a lot of pauses and that kind of dry humor that Demon Slayer gives. Um, it gives the animation depth when it compared to the manga. It feels more lifelike, and it also fills in the gaps that we don't necessarily see or feel when it comes to like speed reading Demon Slayer, reading mangas in general. Those pauses of dialogue and those body language that we don't, imagine when it comes to reading books and stuff like that. And those deep breaths and all those little nitty gritty niche things that we don't have when it comes to reading. I think Demon Slayer does that right when it comes to like the dry humor that it has, or the awkward humor rather. There's a lot of punchlines when it comes to other animes, when it comes to One Piece, and when it comes to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. There's a lot of animes and shonens that really, have a lot of like fast humor that I'd say, or like really punchline like humor. But when it comes to Demon Slayer, I feel like it's very awkward, but it fits. You know what I mean? Like it definitely fits. Like that whole scene of Tanjiro breaking the sword, and then what's his face chasing him up and down the tree. Like that could have been cut down to like what, 4 or 5 seconds, right? But no, it was like a whole 15-second, 20-second animation, and it literally changes from day to night, and then Tanjiro climbs up a tree, he gets chased up the tree, and then climbs down the tree, and it's like the whole Tom and Jerry chase. Like, things like that. Or when it comes to that girl shaking Zenitsu for like a whole 13 seconds. It's very much not necessary, but it fits. Demon Slayer does it right. And, it could be awkward at times, but it's real, it gives that sort of realism that like, sometimes we might not always get the jokes, especially when it comes to like cultures, when it comes to, American culture or Japanese culture, we might not get the sense of humor. Like, for example, the differences in The Office when it comes to the American version and then when it comes to the British version. It's things like that. And sometimes we might not get the humor, but it very much fits in Demon Slayer for most of the time, and I miss it. I very much so miss it. Introduction to the sound Hashira, Tengen Uzui, aka Hentai Boy. Did you hear the slap when it came to him slapping what's her name in the butt? Oh my god, dude, that shit was so funny, and you know what I mean? Like, I didn't expect it. And I think it was just a great introduction to his character Tengen, and how he's gonna tie into beautifully when it comes to the entertainment district, because he's the one who segues us into the entertainment district, where he's kind of the chaperone when it comes to Inosuke, Tanjiro, and Zenitsu's group, and Nezuko, of course. He's the one who's going to be bringing them to fulfill the mission when it comes to hunting demons in the entertainment district. And we also get to see his character, who his crew is later on into this season, and how he is as a Hashira, how he got to that rank, his backstory and all that. We're going to see that this season, and I'm so excited to see him because he's one of the characters that I like. I love his aesthetic. I love how quote unquote flashy he is, and I can't wait for that. It's a great start to a new season and a new arc, entertainment district. I'm very much excited to see how animated the battles are gonna be, the music, how it ties into everything. Nezuko's spoilers, right? Nezuko's form, her new form, which people have already cosplayed of in other events and anime events and stuff like that. We're gonna see her new form, which is gonna be so fucking hype. I can't wait to see everybody's reactions to that. And yeah, new intro, Aimer song. We talked about it, but it's so hyped. I can't wait for its Spotify release. I'm literally getting shivers listening to it. You know how there's this golden rule when it comes to watching a new anime, that you watch the intro once and then you could skip it for the rest of the season. I feel like I could listen to Zankyou Sanka and literally watch season 2 all the fucking time. Every time a new episode plays, I won't skip it. I'll listen to Amer's new song, and I could just watch it forever. So excited to be listening to it. Even though it's the season of Christmas, I will be blasting it all the fucking time now. And when the trailer first dropped, I was so hyped to hear the new song. I would love to like record my reactions of some scenes, but I don't want to get copyright striked. And I have a new channel, and I want to have a good standing on YouTube, so we'll have that. But for now, we'll like include some like pictures of things and on the side and stuff like that. But very much so, we're not really gonna have reactions. So if that's what you're looking for in the future, maybe do some clips. But for like the entire episode, nah, I don't think that's gonna cut it. Thank you for bearing with me and my fucked up tongue. But I very much so wanted to cover this because I'm very passionate about Demon Slayer and creating videos in general. This has been Coffee Takes with your boy, Leaving Sunset. So if you guys liked the video, consider subscribing down below. It's free. Leave a like, comment what was your favorite moment in this first episode, and we will have more coffee roasts like this in the future. This episode in particular wasn't really a roast, but more of a fangirling event when it comes to the new Demon Slayer episode. And yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.